Namaskar, everyone. So, first of all, thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. It's an honor to be here with all great minds and souls who are listening. All right. So today, I'm going to talk about the topic title called "Think Your Way In." So it is not going to be something very philosophical. It's going to be a basic way of how you can dive into yourself by just meditation and thinking. So let's start with meditation as a whole. You see, meditation is not merely an activity of sitting, okay, contemplating, or even visualizing. It is something way deeper than that. And it is something, the first point I would like to highlight here is it is something very individual. You see, you cannot meditate for someone else. Neither can someone else meditate to you. You can't outsource it, number one. So you got to do it yourself. So every experience that happens to you, it is for yourself. So the ground rule which I would like to share here in the beginning itself is do not compare yourself with others. I think we live in a world that we are so programmed to compare ourselves with others, and next to it we start judging ourselves. We start judging what other people do, what we do. So meditation is a process or a journey where you go within yourselves. So it is not something to be compared upon with someone else. Now, for an example, I meditate. I Okay, assuming I see Lord Buddha, okay, and many of you all meditate. Maybe you don't see Lord Buddha, you don't see anything. Does it mean that I'm a better meditator than you or you are a lesser meditator than me? No. It is an individual journey. So it is what is meant for us. So whatever you hear, right, the moment we start comparing yourself with others, other people's experience and so on, you are already channeling your energy to something which is out of your control. For an example, hey, I meditate, I'm not getting anything. How come they are meditating? They're seeing lights, they're seeing colors, they're seeing all God. What's wrong with me? The moment we start this sort of a conversation back in our mind, our energy that we have within us, we are already channeling it outside already. So no matter how much you meditate here to preserve energy, your thoughts is already outside. So you're not preserving the energy, you're letting it go. So we have to understand one thing. We are not born here to be clones of others. We are unique. We have our own calling. So meditation is a process which leads us and brings about what is actually our calling, what is actually we are meant to do. See, the moment we start thinking of fitting into other people's mold, we are letting go that energy already. We are giving meaning for other people's life and we are bringing it to ours. So the first thing here which I would like to really share my experience is you should not compare yourself with others. It is a very, very individual journey. You see, like when it comes to spirituality, the ultimate goal to see everyone equally and to feel the divine that you feel in others as well. So it's seeing everything equally, from human beings, from the molecules, from plants, from animals, each to embrace this living thing. But unfortunately, we live in a world that we are divided quite a bit. The moment we are born, we are defined based on our nationality, our color. And we human beings take it one step further. We divide ourselves based on our race, our caste, the language that we speak. We keep dividing ourselves and we keep judging people. End of the day, it will come to a narrow path where we argue upon subtly who is better than who. But if you say that we are meditators and we cannot accept the people beside us as who they are, then the problem is not in the world. The problem is with us. So I think it is very important for us as an individual to first start diving into deep within us and then embrace the energy that we see around us as equal. Okay, so you see, every individual have their own calling. So now the question here is, in what lens do you see the world? Now we can keep on talking about a lot of spiritual stuff, but end of the day it boils down to, in what lens are you seeing the world? Now I'm wearing a glass here, it is transparent, right? If I wear a black lens, what I see would be black. If I wear a green lens, what I see will be green. So now, the lens of your heart, I'm asking you, in what lens are we seeing the world? That's something very, very crucial. Now, I have a story here. It's a doctor and a patient story. So there's this patient, he went to his doctor and he said this, "Doctor, I touch here pain, doctor. I touch here pain, doctor. I touch here pain, doctor." You know? So the doctor, as usual, immediately took a checkup and everything, and he saw the report. He said, "There's nothing wrong in your body. You're fine, sir. Please go back." The patient went back. He came back again the next week. Same thing. "Doctor, I touch here pain, doctor. I touch here pain. I touch here pain, doctor." So this doctor was baffled, didn't know what to do. He called all his main guys, main surgeons, did a massive checkup in the area that the patient pointed. Again, they saw the results. Nothing happened. 1 week later, the same patient came, the same dialogue. "Doctor, I touch here pain. I touch here pain. I touch here pain, doctor." So this doctor was quite baffled. So he called all the best of the best in the industry. They discussed, and the last, they did the whole body checkup, head to toe, and the results came out. The doctor was quite embarrassed in one side and quite relieved in the other side. Do you know why? The patient actually had a fractured finger. Now let us rewind. Doctor, I touch here, doctor. It is true. I touch here pain, doctor. It is also true. Touch here pain, doctor. It is true. But the root cause is not here. The root cause is actually the fractured fingers. Now, when we see the world, we can start complaining. Politics are not good. Economy is not good. COVID-19 and everything. But what actually is the essence is the root cause which is here, which is our mind and our thought. And how do you actually dive into your mind? That is true when you meditate. You see, when you meditate, right, it gets to the space where a lot of things will come out. A lot of things, meditation will bring a lot of things right in front of your face. The things which stops your growth and so on. But most of the time, whenever we meditate, the things that come out, we'll just brush it through. We'll just keep doing the same thing and again and again. You know, for an example, I was having breakfast one of the days when I went to office. So when you're having breakfast, there was this TV. This guy of astrology guy was in the TV. So he was telling, if you are this Rasi, this thing is going to happen good. This is going to happen bad. So I, as a human being with that high, this intellectual thing, egoistic mind, I said, "Come on, what are you talking about astrology? COVID-19 came in. Nobody can say that." So I was in this egoistic conversation in my mind. Then within second, he said something which was so profound, which hit me hard. He said in Tamil, right? "Ondre sei, nandre sei, indre sei, ippo sei," which goes like this. Ondre sei means do one thing. Nandre sei, do good thing. Indre sei, do today. Ippo sei, do it now. And that's quite a deep statement that he made. So when I start thinking about it, I said, okay, I'm so used to judging people. Now, if I have the judging frame in my mind, whatever information that comes from the universe, it won't get into. So at that moment, I realized the thing here is, meditation gives you this awareness in a broader scale of what is coming, what information is coming. The moment we fall into the space of judging others, the space of comparing, you're stopping the grace which is coming to you. Okay, so this is one of the things that we have to understand. This whole process that is happening with regards to meditation is something very individual, very, very self-based and very self-audit based. It's not in the world outside, it's very internal. So, you see, when you start meditation, most of the time we have this vision that we'll be calm as Buddha, everything will be cool, everything will be calm. But in reality, it is not all the time that case. Like for me, sometimes, like I say, okay, I sit for meditation 1 hour, but sometimes within the 1 hour, 40 minutes will be a war in my head. All the thoughts will come out, everything will just jump in front of me. Maybe the last 5 minutes is what actually the bliss mode. So you can easily say, I meditated 1 hour, but what actually in 1 hour, only you know. So that's where you got to audit in deep. Are you actually meditating, or are you just running through the thoughts in your mind? Every time you meditate, it's like this. You have a bowl of water, a dirt water. Okay, there's a bowl of dirty water here. How do you clear the water without taking and pouring it out? What you do, you pour more water. You pour more water. As the water is filling the bucket or a bowl, the water will flow off. The more clean water you pour in, slowly the water will spill off. And at the end of the day, you will have a bucket full of clear water. Meditation is the same thing. Now, we all, as the moment that we are born till today, we all are programmed by the world around us. A lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of happenings. All these are engraved as emotions deep down into our core. When you meditate, you're pouring a clean water, and all this dirt, which is actually stopping your growth, will come out as a whole. Come out as a whole. Sometimes you tend to get agitated. Sometimes you tend to get very angry. All these are coming out. Now, the crucial point here is when you see something come out, what do you do with it? Do you just brush it off and go back to your meditation, or do you acknowledge, okay, these thoughts are coming? What do I have to do with it? Why is this thought coming again and again? This particular thought process can happen only when you just sit back and start thinking, why is this thought coming continuously to me? There should be some reason. Meditation brings out all this unnecessary energy right in front of you in the form of thought. But what do you do with it is what matters the most. Now, like, as far as meditation is concerned, I've run through, it's very individualistic, do not compare. And I'm going into the main focus on the thoughts. Okay. So as you meditate, you are engaging to your inner energy within, and it brings out all the dirt that is stuck in you, which is hindering your progress, spiritual progress. Now, let's understand how our thoughts and emotions work as a whole. Okay, so now again, and see a simple analogy. I call this a water bubble analogy. Okay, now you have an aquarium here, example. Okay, full of water. You put a ball on the water. So when you put a ball, automatically the ball will float. So assuming I use my full force to push the ball till to the depth of the aquarium, the ball will go down. Okay, then I leave my hand. What will happen? Does the ball immediately come up? If you'd have played in swimming pool or pushing to the ball, the ball will slowly come out. As the ball hit the surface of the water, the ball will splash off. Our emotions are same as the ball. We have gone through a lot of situations in life which emotionally has affected us, emotionally has embedded in our heart. So all these emotions are deep down under. When you meditate, these emotions will slowly come up and it will slowly clear up. So as the more frequent you sit and meditate, the more you will see this clearing your soul, your thoughts, your emotions, and so on. So those are good indication, which is coming out. So our thoughts and emotions are equally the same. So when you meditate, when you get involved with this thing, the thoughts will come out, right? What do you do with the thoughts? Like for an example, simple thing. Assuming someone you have gone through a painful childhood. Childhood means in the age, maybe the age of 5. Now you are 42. Okay, if you are still talking about your painful childhood which happened 35 years ago, what you are doing actually is you are tuning in to the painful energy which happened 35 years ago and bringing it to the present and giving life to it. Every time you meditate, some thoughts will come on. These are the thoughts where the meditation is putting it forth to you that these are the thoughts which is actually hindering you. Now you got to analyze just in a simple way is what am I thinking actually? Am I thinking in a past? Am I thinking in a future? Or am I being present? So every time you indulge on a thought pattern which happens in the past, you are actually tuning into the past energy and bringing it to the present. And this will hinder you from moving forward. So the greatest thing for you to, or the greatest tool for you to move forward from where we are right now is to accept what is happening currently. Like for me, right, every day I would ask this question: what am I resisting in my thought? What am I resisting? The moment you accept, you see, the more you resisting, the more it will persist. So through meditation, a lot of this thing will come right in front of you. So what are you doing with it is a call that you got to think upon. The more you resist something that is the thought, the more it will persist. So now, example, painful childhood. If it comes out, what do you actually do? Yes, it has happened. I accept it. Now I let go of this thought. I used to tell this verbally, and the thought will slowly lose power in it. All these past thoughts, all these painful thoughts. So what I'm trying to say here or share here is, you see, the more you accept your reality, accept it fully without resisting it, the more better your future or the next path will reveal itself. Because meditation is like, you see, when you sit in a car, you want to go from here to maybe Penang, a state in Malaysia. You don't need to have a light which shows as far as Penang. All you need is light as far as maybe few meters. So every time when you meditate, these kind of things will come out. When you acknowledge it, another chapter will reveal. When you acknowledge it, another chapter will reveal. The more you resist all these things, all these thoughts, you will still go into the spiral mode of thought, which you will create another scenario with the same thoughts, with the same emotions. And you'll go that again and again. And no matter how much you meditate, this thing will come back again, because that's the lesson the universe is trying to bring forth to us. Okay, so that's how it goes. How much are you paying attention to that thoughts? Okay, so that's something key in the form of, like, whatever emotions that express itself, whatever emotions that you suppress will eventually express yourself. So as an individual, it's very important for us to pay attention to what comes out in us. Pay attention to our thinking, because this is what meditation teaches us as a whole. Now we can talk about spiritual things, we can talk about everything, but we don't self-audit ourselves and improve ourselves. No matter how many gurus come into our life and go, we won't be able to move to the next level. Of course, there is a divine grace that comes to it, but it's very important for us to sit and analyze what are we actually thinking. It's not rocket science. You just have to sit and think, what am I thinking? What am I thinking on a day-to-day basis? Okay, so that's on the thought part. So now the next thing here is, this is where the classic thing which I always like to say. Okay, now not all of us have the leisure to meditate for 5-6 hours a day. Many of us are working. Okay, now when you wake up in a day, you have this much of energy deposited to us. Okay, this much energy. Now the question here is, where do we channel our energy? Okay, 24 hours, 8 hours sleep, so you're left with 16 hours. Now we will probably say I meditate for 1 hour. Okay, meditate for 1 hour. What are you doing the next 15 hours? What do we actually do? We are involved in this almost all the time. We see something, we will share it with 10 groups. We get involved in the discussion 10 groups. We'll do something, we look at a phone. We'll do something, we do at the phone. What are we actually doing? We are practicing distraction all day long. Now let me ask you one thing. You meditate 1 hour daily, perfect, and you practice 15 hours of distraction. What would you be good at? You and I, what would we be good at? Will we be good at meditating, connecting to divinity, or will we be good at distraction? I mean, phone is good, don't mistake me. Phone is good. Phone gives us information, it gives us access to the wealth of the world. But who is the master here? Is it the phone? Are we? Every time when the phone beep, are we telling that, yes, master, click, or are we leaving it aside and putting a hold on our behavior pattern? So we got to analyze what are we channeling our energy on a day-to-day basis. Like most of the time, we see social media, we see news, we see a lot of negative thing going on. Are we indulging into it? Because when you indulge into it, yeah, you are channeling your energy. So assuming you have this much of energy, you channel this much into gossiping, this much into politics, story, this much everything. End of the day, you only have this much to work on your craft or your present. So I think it is very crucial for us to analyze where are we channeling our energy on a day-to-day basis. Most important thing, we go to a restaurant. Okay, coming back, sorry, one step back. Now, we live a normal life. After meditation or prayers, what do? We go to work. Now, my question here is, how much are we paying attention to what we do? The normal things that we do. Example, having breakfast. When was the last time you all just had your phones away and pay attention to the food in front of you? These days, you go to restaurants, you see everyone will be there with this. Adults will be like this, kids will be like this. You know, the food will come, especially in Malaysia. Sometimes you'll have people feeding while they're looking at the phone. So, what kind of respect are we giving to the food in front? You know, if you practice concentration on every single activity to do, at the end of the day, when you sit for meditation, you can immediately connect and feel the divine presence. So, the question here is, how much are we focusing on the food that we eat? How much are we focusing on the smell, on the fragrance, on the view? Or are we trying to fit our life into this screen, which is here? Now, this is not the phone's problem. This is not technology's problem. This is our own problem. So, all this could only happen when we just sit back and start thinking of our own actions. I mean, it's easy to point fingers and tell that person is not good, this person is not good. And we say, I'm meditating, I'm a vegetarian, but he is not good. No. The more you focus outside, the more you're channeling the outside. I think meditation is a process, in my opinion, to channel that energy within. Okay. So last but not least, I would like to talk about an important lesson which I learned past couple of months. COVID-19. COVID-19, I would say, in many contexts, was a great blessing for me as an individual. Now, we as a human being, we think we know it all. We think we figure it all out. We think we are that highest creation of all. This one energy which is unseen just made us all get into one corner of the house, lock ourselves, and not go out, and made us think. Because if we complain in that situation, you cannot do much also. This is the reality. You see? So there is always a higher energy which governs all of us. Now, as an individuals, it will be the best goal for us to ultimately connect to this divine energy and operate in that higher consciousness. So COVID-19 taught that a lot. So as much as we think we got, no, it's more of a reflective. The moment I sat and reflected on it, on whatever happening, it opened up a lot of thoughts. Like in my context, it's just an awareness. When you sit and think and you realize, hey, this is a great lesson. This is a blessing. You start looking into everything. Oh, I'm blessed. I have a home. I'm blessed. I can drink water. I'm blessed. I can go and shop something. The moment you switch that thought towards from complaining towards embracing, a lot of things open up. In personally in my career itself, a lot of doors has opened up. You know, a lot of people lost job. I got a lot of opportunity during this COVID-19 situation. So it's not. It is definitely a blessing of the universe, but it's definitely that path that made me switch my thinking. So what I'm trying to say here is this: uh, switching these whole thoughts and emotions are very crucial. It defines who we are going to be, but it's very important for us to be aware of what we are thinking and what is our emotional pattern is. And for that, when we sit and meditate, all these things will be brought forward in front of us. Now, how are we acknowledging it? How are we reacting upon it relies on us. Stop pointing fingers of others, because every time when you point fingers, three fingers is showing at you. Spirituality is a personal growth. It's a very individual, personalized space. Okay, so embrace that, feel that presence of divinity through meditation, and then our life will change in a complete different direction altogether. Well, that's about it. Namaskar.